Over the last few years, our educational opportunity program has been dismantled. The educational opportunity program since the 60s have helped low-income students be successful at the university. Over the last few years, students and staff have advocated for the program to be restored. So what does that say about what we value here at San Jose State? What does that say about where we're going, what we prioritize? Because most of the services that help students from that certain population are in the back. When you walk into that student service building, they're in the back. What does that say about our university? Most of the things that we have here, like the statues, like the Cesar Chavez Community Action Center, like Mosaic, that has all happened because of the students, because the students have demanded it, specific demands. Now, I always hear people talk about how San Jose State is so diverse, how San Jose is diverse. Yeah, it is diverse, but it's also segregated. Segregated diversity. And everyone's just cool with being separate but equal. As long as we're all equal, hey, you gotta pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. But we have to understand that here at the university, no matter where you come from, you have a privilege. You are privileged. I am privileged, even though I come from one of the worst, one of the most low-income communities in the country, South Central Los Angeles, which I have a lot of pride for. But of course, I have to acknowledge that a lot of people had to fight and struggle to be where I am today in the past. When I first got to this university, I lived on campus. The whole first month, I didn't see someone who I could relate to, except the custodian lady when I'd go to class in the morning at 7, and that's the only time I could speak Spanish. What does that say? So, we're always talking about community, but what we need to focus on is this word. It's called tolerance. It's called solidarity. And we need to better understand each other and educate each other about what's really going on, about our cultures, about our background, to be able to have respect for the views of others. Because through that respect, we can be able to come together, not through this segregated diversity. Tolerance. But social justice, where does that leave you? Where does that leave you as a student? Right now, I'm talking to you, because this is where it's at. Well, let me tell you, a lot of the time people are always talking about all these presidents who have done a lot of good stuff for this nation. Well, if it wasn't for the people who were out there rallying, sending the message, it would not have happened. It's the people who put pressure on these governments, on administration, on people who govern you, that have made things possible. And let me tell you, as a student, you do got power. Let's talk about Kent State. Let's talk about Berkeley. Let's talk about Puerto Rico. Students out there getting together and rallying. You have power as a student. But what do we leave behind for generations? Now, usually when people talk, they like to quote, like, again, these people who are like up there and done a lot, and that's great. But I'm gonna quote my friend, just a common student. My friend Mark Baker said, if con is the opposite of pro, does that mean that Congress is the opposite of progress?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right. Ordinary people, we don't have to be superheroes to create change. We don't. So I'm always talking about, man, what do we gotta do, where we're going? And we look back at the 60s and how great that has been in the civil rights movement, but look at where we're at today. A lot of the things that have been done there have been undone. And what we need to focus on is the young people. The young people. That's what we need to focus on. We need to pass on our education. We need to pass on what we have to say. We have to pass on that knowledge. And to wrap up, let me just tell you, if you really want to leave a legacy behind, this is what you gotta do. You have to think about where we're going. You have to think about who can help you in a world where you are searching. And how will you fund it? What will you invest? Your time, your money, or actively being present? And a lot of people always talking about, I don't have time. Well, guess what? There are time for the things that are important to you. Thank you.